Hello out there, wherever you're watching from our beautiful planet. This is Cross Cultural Experiences. My name is Uche Onyebadi. This is a forum where we cross cultures and then share with our guest, or the guest shares with us, whatever experience he or she, encountered in a different cultural setting. And more importantly, what did you learn from that experience? So my guest today is so beautifully dressed, like the king of his place. His name is EYOBONG. Incidentally, the name of the king in his area is Obong. So I call him Obong EYOBONG. Did I get it right?
You got it.
Okay, you briefly introduce yourself and then we can share your experiences.
Well, my name is EYOBONG Ita. As you rightly said, I was born in that little village called Creektown near Calabar. Calabar is, I would say, the most beautiful city in this world.
No
Calabar
problem.
is in southeastern Nigeria.
Okay.
And I was born in Creektown, a village. I was raised there. I did my elementary and high school in Creektown, which is we call it secondary school back home. And I'm a proud alumni of government secondary school Creektown. I said the most beautiful school in the whole world. Anyway, so I did my elementary high school in Nigeria, and then I moved in Creektown. Then I moved to Lagos. At that time, it was the capital city of Nigeria. Moved to Lagos, and I had always wanted to be a journalist. I had started practicing the writing in school in Creektown, and then I moved to Lagos. I joined Vanguard newspapers. To cut a long story, I joined Vanguard newspapers, a national publication in Nigeria, still existing up till now. And I began writing sports. I started as a sport journalist. My passion has always been sports, boxing, number one, soccer. I used to play soccer in high school, and then I took soccer to the sport desk, wrote soccer, covered soccer, boxing, badminton, multi-sports. And then 3 years after, I had a chance to come to the United States to cover world boxing title fights. Joel Asisi of Nigeria was fighting Virgil Hill of the United States. Now, when I got to the US, covered that fight, I spent about 3 weeks in the US before I moved to Scotland to cover the under-17 World Cup soccer championship. The experiences I had in the US and Scotland were so profound that by the time I went back to Nigeria, I could no longer stay in Nigeria. So I decided to resign and came back to the US. Came back to the US in search of greener pastures. Because the lifestyle. I mean, at the time, I'll be on the road. On the radio, people will be winning money. The price is right.
Yeah.
Even the price, all those game shows, people winning money.
So were you attracted to come and win some money in the United States?
I said, oh my God, maybe I can just win some money. But then I was more attracted to come and work.
Okay.
Come and work. But my first time I came to work, my first shock was that I thought I was this big time journalist in Nigeria. And 3 years experience, I've covered assignment within Nigeria, in some part of Africa, some countries in Africa and the US and in the UK. Oh, I was a top shot, I thought. So I came in and I was in Washington at the time. So I came in and wrote an application to get a job at the Washington Post.
Say it again. Washington Post?
Washington Post. I had no idea how massive, how huge the Washington Post was. So I just thought, what could be said? But after I was writing for a national publication in Nigeria.
In Nigeria.
I should be a shoe-in to get a job at the Post. Prof. Onyebadi, I'm sure you wouldn't be shocked to know that up till today, nobody has responded to my application.
Which was written decades ago. Oh, okay.
You know, nobody told me how things were done.
Right.
And attach a resume to that application. You know, back home, who cares about resumes?
So your resume was your face and the
They
name.
didn't even see my face. They just saw a strange name that they had never heard of. You know.
Maybe we should go to Washington Post and look at the archives and see if your letter is still there.
I don't think so. I think it ended up in the trash can.
All right, but is that your experience, the one you want to share?
No. That was just the beginning of my shock, cultural shock.
Okay, all right. Go ahead.
You know, and then I came into the country a few days towards the end of September.
Yeah.
And by November, the entire country was bustling with life, with Christmas decorations, Christmas shopping. Everywhere was so beautiful. You know, on some radio stations, they were playing Christmas carols from November all the way to Christmas Day. And some radio stations just devoted their stations to playing Christmas carols.
Okay.
Everywhere was so lively, so beautiful. You see some homes with all this decoration. I said, oh my goodness, this Christmas will be so wow. But to my shock, on Christmas Day, Prof. Sunday party, the whole place was like a graveyard. Oh my goodness. Everywhere was quiet.
Okay.
I said, what's going on? You know, back home, especially Calabar, where I come from, the Efok Kingdom. I'm an Efok by tribe. The Efok Kingdom always have several cultural dances, displays.
Right.
And there will be so many things to watch. Cultural dances, Ekwe, Nabo, Oko, so many cultural dances. Abang, Fonkuroman. I know,
it's okay.
Some of
those are
them
the
I
names.
need interpretation. So what I mean is that there's so many cultural dances back home that, and probably in many African countries too. But in the US, the place was quiet,
Yeah.
The place was quiet.
So were you wondering why get ready for Christmas and then on Christmas Day nothing happened?
I'm telling you. And my brother at the time was laughing at me, said, you think you're in Calabar? That was another shock for me. Because the pomp, the pageantry, the beautification of the entire city was so much that I expected so much on Christmas Day. Back on Christmas Day, we visit families, we eat rice and stew and all that.
Everything, yes.
No, nobody visited us. We didn't go anywhere. And we didn't have anything to eat special. We just ate a normal food,
Did you go to McDonald's at least?
No, I actually didn't go to McDonald's because I was happy to cook my delicious afang.
Afang soup.
And I did come, which are some of the food delicacies, back home in Nigeria. The best in the world too. I must add.
Can I interject and ask you, what did you learn from that specific experience?
Well, it actually showed me that America doesn't really have a good culture to fall back on. I don't know why that is. I probably, Americans, majority white. And they don't have that cultural background.
Okay.
And some of my brothers and sisters, the African Americans, some of them only knew of those cultural dances from what they read and saw back in their motherland, in Africa. They had no experience on how to put those cultural dances, to package those cultural dances.
So you immediately had to adjust.
I had to adjust. And if I want to enjoy Christmas, I have to go back to Calabar to enjoy Christmas in Nigeria. And as if that wasn't enough.
Yeah.
I started to work.
No. Oh, that's the other experience. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember, I had applied to work at the Washington Post, and I never.
That didn't. We will still trace
Yeah.
that application. Go ahead.
Yeah, and so now I needed a job. Since I could not get the newsroom job that I thought I would get,
Yeah.
I had to get a job. And guess where I landed a job? In the dish room. Dish room, washing dishes.
Okay.
So I used to tease myself that I was transformed from the newsroom to the dish room.
All right.
It's still a room, but of different kind.
That's a good way to put it.
That's a good transition.
Okay.
The ironic sense of it. But what was symbolic about this transition was that when I applied for this job, I was told, you have experience washing dishes? I said, oh yeah, I have experience.
Okay.
We always wash dishes anyway.
All right.
As little kids, we wash dishes. We wash our dishes. We didn't have dishwashers, so for anyone to ask me, do you have experience washing dishes? That's a no-brainer. Of course, I had experience. Little did I know what they meant, and little did I did not expect what was going to befall me.
Yeah.
Because of that, because I had so much experience, I didn't have any orientation. They didn't give me orientation.
All right.
And on a Saturday morning, that place is Bob's Big Boy. It was called Bob's Big Boy in Greenbelt, Maryland. Some people around the DC metro area would recognize that. I don't know if it's still there anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Greenbelt Plaza. So I got this job. I was scheduled to start on a Saturday. And so joyfully I arrived at work. I was to start at 6 a.m. Some of the people eat, a lot of Americans, they will line up to eat, especially the seniors. I went to work. I got into they showed me the dish room. And before I knew, they were throwing dishes, big pots.
Okay.
No, I didn't even see the plates to wash. Dishes, big, gigantic dishes. And within a few minutes, the whole thing had covered me.
Oh, yeah?
I couldn't see my way. And I was hurrying to wash with my bare hands. I had no idea that I had to use gloves, had to wear gloves to wash the dishes. Professor Onyebadi, by the time I got home, that first day, I worked for, I believe, 10 or 11 hours. I got home. My hands were all swollen. These hands were all swollen.
Oh, my goodness.
From the chemical in the water. Because I didn't know, I just thought it was just, clean water that we used to wash our dishes with dishwashing soap.
Yeah.
And the chemical and everything, both hands were swollen. I was so much pain. And I told my brother at the time, my brother, who is no longer alive, I told him, goodness, I don't think I can go to work tomorrow. He said, my brother, you better go to work or you'll be fired. I said, what? He said, you'll be fired. They don't play here. Back when if anything like that happened, you just call and say, oh, you're not feeling well, you can't come in.
Can't come to work, that's it.
You say, oh, my hands are swollen. I say, oh my God, I'm so sorry. They'll even be feeling empathy for you. But yeah, he told me, they'll fire you. You better go to work.
Now, how did you resolve the issue of now washing the dishes? Did you learn again, or did somebody tell you what to do?
Luckily, there was one Yoruba woman, a Nigerian,
right?
When she noticed that the whole dish room was covered and there wasn't much progress with taking out clean dishes.
And they were looking for the guy who has expertise in washing dishes.
And the woman said, is anyone there? And I said, yes. She said, oh my God, are you new? I said, yeah. She said, nobody showed you how to do this? I said, no. This woman came to the bar of the dish. She was a cook. But before you can be elevated to the status of a cook in the restaurant, you would have known and have to wash dishes and do all
right, the process. Okay.
So she came and quickly showed me how I should have been washing those dishes. And I'm a quick learner. So I learn on my feet.
Right.
That was when I began to make progress.
Okay.
But the following day, with
Yeah.
my swollen hands, I went to work.
Okay.
And I did not even complain to anybody that I had swollen hands. But I asked for gloves. And
Okay. You had to swallow your pride, eh?
oh, no, not only pride, I needed the job. You
You
know, when
did it.
in this country, this was more than pride. I needed the job. Everybody back home knew I was in the US,
Yeah.
and they knew I was working. And before long, they will start asking for money.
For my to send
So
them
I
something
needed the job.
something small, as they say.
So I got gloves, and that day went so much better.
Okay.
Then
Let me ask you. Let me ask you at this point. So, what was what did you learn from that second experience? Because you had come posing as somebody who could just wash dishes and all that stuff, and suddenly your hands were now swollen.
it is so good to ask questions when you are in a
Correct.
new place.
Yeah.
Ask. Don't assume that you already know what to do. I thought I already knew how to wash dishes. I didn't know it's done differently in a restaurant and in the United States. So the big lesson was ask questions and
Right.
don't be afraid to say you don't know what you don't know. And don't
Correct.
be afraid to say, oh, I know this thing, but I don't know. Is it done the same way here? So that they could give you an orientation if it's not done the same way. I would have been better off if I had, if I had asked more questions. I would have been better.
Right. That's the whole essence of this forum. You go to a new place, don't make assumptions. Don't impose your style of washing dishes
No, no,
with,
no.
we used to call it sapo and soap. Don't just ask and then adapt, to
Of
the new
course,
situation. Now, when you go back to your place of origin, you can go
of
back to
course.
washing dishes the way you knew how
Yeah,
to do
normally,
them.
because who knew about dishwashers back home at that time anyway?
And
Not
that's,
now. What
I
we
think
do for
this is a nice place to. No, I will have to invite you. I'm sure you have more experiences. I will invite you
yes.
back some other time.
Before you go, Professor Onyebadi, some of those my experiences are being recalled, are captured in my new book, in my
Oh,
new
okay.
book, which will be launched on April 18 in Houston. My first book, my memoir, it captures my years in journalism and some of those things that would be very captivating for people. It's an inspiring book for people who aspires to for people who aspire to be to pursue their dreams. Because mine was about pursuing my dream. You heard how I applied to the Washington Post and nobody answered me. But I'm happy to tell you that I actually still persevere. I persevered, and I went back into practicing journalism in this country. And I worked at the Gazette newspapers in Maryland. From there, I moved to the Kansas City Star in Kansas City, Missouri. I worked there for several years, and I even became a night editor at the Springfield News Sun in
Okay.
Springfield, Ohio.
In
So
fact, that
it worked out well, even though the Washington Post did not,
you know what?
respond to my
We will have to visit your experience
right.
now as a journalist in the United States versus being the journalist in Nigeria. That will be
Oh
another
yes,
forum. We'll talk about it, especially
that would be another one too, because
right.
it's not the same. There are differences. I'm telling you,
All right.
the differences.
Okay.
Good ones.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks again for being here. But I usually say that anybody who wants to be part of this program can reach me using cross-cultural experiences at gmail.com. Please don't forget cross-cultural experiences with the S at gmail.com. Obong Eyobong, this has been very, very, captivating from the newsroom
To
to
the dish room.
the dish.
Ah,
Okay, my brother, you have a good rest of the day, and I must commend your outfit. This is
oh,
fit for a
Professor,
king.
this is a traditional effort outfit for people of Calabar.
Okay.
The most beautiful ethnic group in the entire white world, I must say.
All right.
not just the beautiful outfit, we have beautiful culture, from
Oh,
food to the cultural dances. And at Christmas, this is the best place to be at Christmas is Calabar in southeastern Nigeria. Anyone who has not had that experience should. And they've even added the carnival, Carnival Calabar to the cultural display. So best place to be in the entire world. If you were looking for a place to spend Christmas, go to Calabar in
all
South.
right, we end it on that note. Thanks again for your presence and for sharing your experiences. Thank you.
It's been my pleasure.